Welcome to the Chris Hatcher Show. I'm your host, Kevin Blackwell, and again, I'm joined by Samford head football coach Chris Hatcher. This past Saturday, the Bulldogs traveled to Johnson City, Tennessee to take on the 17th-ranked East Tennessee State Buccaneers and come home with a big 38-27 victory, but also come home with a record-breaking quarterback. Coach, it was a good day to be a Samford Bulldog.
It really was. And first, I was glad to have you back on the show. We missed you last week immensely, so I was glad to have you back. But, we go on the road, play a top-ranked opponent, coming off of a heartbreaking defeat, the Citadel, the week before. The weather during practice all week was the worst we've had all season. So, I was really concerned just about our motivation, even though we talk about pride, win and see. You got to play because it's what you're supposed to do. But we're all human, and we go out there, play in front of a huge crowd there. I mean, they're playing for the outright conference championship if they were to win the ball game. We get down early, 10-0, and what's been indicative of our team all year that we don't let adversity bother us. I mean, we start the season 1-4 and finish with a winning record. We start on the road last game down 10-0 and come back and play extremely well. So I'm really proud of our team throughout the course of the season. But we showed a lot of stuff on Saturday, and I was real pleased with the overall performance in all three phases of the game.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. I was thinking about that Saturday night. That game, in many ways, was kind of a microcosm of the whole season for us. I mean, we overcome early deficits to eventually win the game. This team has just got so much fight.
They do, and again, unless you win every game, you're going to be disappointed, a little bit at the end of the season. But I'm really just proud of the way they've come to compete each and every week. It didn't always go our way, but it's been a really good team. These seniors, they go out with 8 consecutive winning seasons, even though they wasn't all here that long, but which is a record for Samford. And then, on Saturday, you mentioned it earlier, to have Devlin break the Steve McNair's record to be to have the most yards passing in the history of the FCS, a record that stood for 25 years. It's like I told the team at the end of the game, I mean, you don't get to play with a guy that reaches that pinnacle every year. So we're very proud of him. And again, I reiterate, it took a lot of great players along the way to help him reach that goal. And one of them being Kelvin McKnight, who was named a finalist for the Walter Payton Award along with Devlin. He had another huge day, 12 catches on the day. And then Chris Schelling played well. We had a lot of guys play well offensively. But again, I think that our defense really settled in to their form after the quick start by East Tennessee State, which allowed us to get more touches, which allowed us to put a lot more points on the board late in the game.
Yeah, and Devlin does finish his career with 14,584 yards and breaks the record in a game that he didn't even throw a touchdown pass. All touchdowns came by his feet. There's irony there.
Well, it is. I want to say it's the first time that we've won a game since I've been here. We didn't throw a passing touchdown. All of them were on the ground. And then the other ironic thing, with all those great receivers we have, we had a running back catch the one that ended up being the yardage breaker, and DeMarcus Ware made a great one-handed catch, made a guy miss, and at the end of the third quarter, we break the record, or Devlin breaks the record. So it was a special night all in all, a very emotional night to be able to send the seniors out with a big victory. It's like I told them, there's a few of them have been here longer than me, but the majority of them were in that first class that I signed. So, every year that I've been at Samford, they've been here with me. So it's going to be it was awfully sentimental for a guy that will cry in a heartbeat to send those guys out. But at least we won the game and finished our 8th consecutive winning season on a very good note.
Coach, it was a great win. And, as you think back, as we close the books on this season, and you'll have an opportunity to kind of reflect back on 2018, what will you most remember this season?
Well, that's a hard one to answer. There's been so many ups this season, and I always focus on the good things that happened. To be able to be on a team that has the all-time leading passer, I mean, that's huge. But I think more important than anything was just to to see how the guys performed after such a rough start. I mean, we didn't expect to have that type of start. Nobody does. Things didn't go our way, but our guys didn't point fingers. They didn't question the process. They continued to work, which allowed them to win 5 out of the last 6 games. So I just think the resolve of this team and their hard work and just trusting the process each week are the things that I'll take with me and hopefully try to improve on and instill in the future teams that I'm fortunate enough to coach.
Yeah. Well, as we do close the books on this season, I know you're already thinking about next season and what's coming up. I guess at this point, it's about recruiting.
Well, recruiting is an ongoing cycle. It never stops. Yeah. But we got a lot of really good players to replace, as we well know, and we got to do a good job of finding guys that fit the Samford mold, fit what we're looking for, and then we got to do a good job of developing the players that are already here, because we're going to rely on a lot of guys that, maybe we redshirted or saw a little bit of action this season. It's their time to step up and be good players for us. But I think the future is really bright. We got a good young team coming back next season, got some good playmakers, and I think we'll be pleasantly surprised with some names that you haven't ever called over the loudspeaker. But again, we've already, as soon as that game was over, the focus goes to the 2019 season.
I figured that much. Coach, as you, again, think about this past season, name a couple of players that you saw mature throughout the season and their ability, and guys that you're probably going to be counting on next year.
Well, I think Brendan Loftus did a tremendous job as our starting center. Nate Lee went down about the 3rd, 4th game of the year as our center, and Brendan moved from guard to center and did a tremendous job. And just that's a huge leadership position, and just to see him grow in that role, I thought was really cool there. And then I thought, you look around Trayshawn Floyd. I mean, he played with a hurt knee all season. All the injuries we had at linebacker, I mean, that guy really stepped up his play as well. And then, I throw my hat off to Nick Barton, a guy that walked on the team, and then he ends up, we get 9 safeties get hurt during the year. It seemed like that many. And he comes in and he holds the fort down the last 4 ball games of the year. So, you put me on the spot with that question. Only bad question you asked all year. I could go through every player and talk about how they grew.
Right.
But those just really come to mind.
Yeah. Well, Coach, it's been a memorable season for us, and on behalf of our Samford family, thank you for being our head coach, doing a great job, and your coaching staff as well, keeping this team going all year long. We're very grateful for that.
Well, that's mighty kind of you, and we appreciate all you do for our university. And we got a lot of good boys that are going to go on and do some great things. In fact, right before the show, I was going over with Paige Mathis, our academic counselor, about who's going to graduate the midterm, and it's an exciting time when you coach this group of young men or this age group. You just hope that you instill some things in them that will go make them be able to change the world when it's all said and done. So we're very appreciative of you, and I hope all the Samford fans have a happy Thanksgiving, and we look forward to football season in 2019. Hopefully both of us will still be around.
I don't know if they're going to renew my contract or not, but we do hope to see you back for the 2019 season on the Chris Hatcher Show.